my phone was blowing up. I just want to make sure my dog is okay. Like, one of my dogs was sick before I left, and my wife she's going to school to be a vet. So, of course, she's probably giving me all of the highlights of what's going on with one of the dogs. So, but yeah, let's spread it.
Walk around and ask the questions.
You can ask them out loud, or you can just focus on it. Whatever you're comfortable with. There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Okay.
So people are just going to look at you weird all night long because you're listening to open air. So you got it. There are people going to a vehicle in the lot to your right, just so you know. That's a name you don't hear every day, by the way.
It's my maiden name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's something. There was something just popped up on the screen right there. And, well, of course,
You were
now
recording?
it's gone. I was.
I will also tell you, and maybe I should show you a little bit extra tricks with this, it will pick up shadows. So if your shadow is in front of you or along the wall over there, it'll make it look like a person is over there. So the reason why is because it's a lack of light.
Gotcha.
So leaves and any type of foliage are never your friend because all leaves are in front of another one.
Gotcha.
So it'll always kind of create that gobbledygook looking. But yeah, when I say, I want heads and shoulders out of his camera, the same thing kind of goes for yours, but I also want an interaction because when I talked to the app designer, they basically said it's going to always attempt to try to make things look like a person, but he said always try to get a reaction out of it. So, hey, if you're Eliza, can you raise your right hand? And if you get that kind of reaction out of it, then it's obviously something pretty legit, and it's recording audio as well, so we'll hear that.
Okay.
It's weird that picked up, but we do have a lot of things along
Yeah,
the
the
wall
shadows
for our
there.
shadows.
I was wondering about that, if that's what it was.
It may have been, but again, because I couldn't see it, I will screenshot it, brighten it up. If there's something there, you'll get both screenshots, the raw and the brightened version of it.
Gotcha.
So there are some nights where those folks that when we use this camera will have like 10 shots from me of things that I will call legit, and I would say the other half don't get anything. So it's a big toss in the air. But yeah, keep it recording the entire time we're in here. Something just showed up right over there in the car.
Did you
it's
see
still
that?
there. So just showing you my point of view.
Yes.
With that, because it was so tall, it's looking at the lamp itself, so the light bulb as the head, and then the shoulders were that first little gray pedestal, and then it gave you the full square of that block right there. So again, I can almost debunk that without having to stop it, just because I know the location. See how tall it makes it? Ghosts are not that tall. They're going to be as tall as you and me.
Very
Brian,
cool.
what do you got?
Nothing.
Got to have something on there.
I mean, I heard some a woman when I asked a question, but I didn't know what it is.
Okay. So you don't have the easiest job out here, just so you know. It is difficult. So it's okay to say, hey, wife, child, come help me. And give them the other earbud. Because again, even though they're both staring at screens, like they can do and help you out. Yours, it's almost like you lose sight because you're so close to you. So yeah, that's what we're recording.
Eliza, if you're here, I'd like to see you.
Back.
So what are you guys getting out of yours?
I heard two words. I heard bad and stuff.
Bad and stuff.
I think it's the Michael Jackson song.
Okay.
Fun, man.
Okay. So he's hearing songs.
Well,
You recognize that part of the song, which is perfectly fine because that's what we're going at. So just so you kind of have an equal thought, because it seems like you kind of have a good gist of like watching the TV shows with YouTubers. Those things that they show you on there.
that's him.
Get out. Like that is not a thing. I do not accept that as a
This is sometimes the shadows will do it too. So you go, I think that's the shadow. I think that's a shadow. I think that's a shadow on that. Eliza, are you there? Can you show yourself for me? Please show yourself. That shadow.
Do not know lingo like this device. I use the term box and
Eliza, how old are you when you married? Was that you, Eliza, turning the light off? Let's see, I'm gonna- Oh, there was something. I'm not sure what that was, but it was right beside him, squared off like shoulders. Did you see it pop up? Those are the shadows, but that other one is squared off. Shadows.
Heard salt and pepper.
Hmm?
I heard salt and pepper.
The song of theirs, or just the name? Are you asking questions? Eliza, would you please show yourself? We'd love to see you.
She freaks out at every little thing with the dogs.
That's my shadow. Freaked myself out a little bit there. This is cool. That is cool. Mine just did off my own shadow like to give me a heart attack. I was like, ooh, that's my shadow.
And by the way, feel free to intermingle.
Okay.
Like, as long as it's within your party. Like, if Brian really starts to suck at this or he gets tired of hearing that, by all means, flip things around. So
Okay.
if you want to use something, tell one of them. Like, hey, Mom, Dad, give me your gear. Let's switch up. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 16.
16, and you're this quiet still. What did you do, Mom?
Nothing.
Got a car coming in, so be kind of mindful of that.
I don't know if that was you or the shadow.
Not really.
Remember,
Yeah, that's all I know. I've asked a couple questions.
Again, I'm asking you to do something with your hearing that you don't normally do.
Salt and pepper.
Where they? Lyric about the song.
So the lyric, before I've heard the voice.
A lot of times the teenagers tell me that they've heard Harry Styles. I'm like, I don't give a shit. You've heard Harry Styles. You don't hear singing. Like, oh, it's the song as it was. Was it the lyric as it was? You know what I mean? So it's really breaking it down to the message. Because Eliza's not going to know who Harry is. She's not going to know the name of the song. She's going to go after whatever lyrics. Right. I love how you guys just kind of stay huddled up here. It actually works for Saturday night. Normally I'm like, all right, make sure I'm watching the phone movie. Get a quick break from here. This actually works really well.
Ooh. If that's you, Eliza, show yourself. Come on, show yourself. Show yourself. Show yourself. We want to see you.
So right in the middle of where your TV goes. This is not electricity for replacement television. You guys got anything over there?
What happened to her house?
I'm not telling you yet. What did you get?
I thought it thought we heard something about a fire.
Doesn't need a fire.
Cool.
Okay. Right?
How you feel?
What?
So how do you feel?
A little goosebumpy?
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, what makes it goosebumpy is when you get part of the date.
Okay.
So that kind of verifies it.
So when
When did that occur?
Miss Eliza, when did your house burn down?
And that can show up on Brian's device too. So now that you asked the question, he's obviously listening for numbers right now. Waiting to see what's going to come up either way. Brian hasn't heard anything.
Miss Eliza, can you please let us know when your house burned down?
Part of it.
Can you tell us the rest of the year?
Don't believe yet. It's cool, you can hear it. Come on. We want to see you.
You heard 85, I'm going to write it down. Eliza, you want to give us the rest of the date? The great fire that destroyed your house? Not easy, is it? You never know when it's going to come in.
Right.
We got nothing else going on.
Just listening intently.
So I'll go ahead and wrap this one up. This is very busy in here. I know I do. But popular ghost tour stop. And this, like, I'm surprised on a Saturday night we're the only ones down here. Like, and it was like this last night as well. I don't know, like I said, that plane thing that went on this week. So I don't know if you guys all drove in. Sorry, back. The whole thing is just terrifying. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, as much as I thought.
Now see nothing and not on those religions, just so you know. They're well in the shower. I really want to be in here. That would be terrible.
Oh, they're actually limited.
20 people.
It belongs to chicken meal.
What?
Again,
Oh.
a little girl.
But anyway, so we all tell the same story down here. I tell it obviously way different because of what we're doing with ghost hunting. And if you guys have taken a ghost tour in Carlson even 8 years ago, you probably heard this one already.
I think we've been here.
Yep, I'm sure you have. And it does get a little bit warmer down here, so I'll be like, what we're looking for here, by the way, is we're not going to spread out like what we did over there. I know we didn't really spread out, but we're looking for a bleed over. So at the next location, we may get our clues on the communication devices and other pieces from here. The reason why is because I've actually been kicked out of here before, and we're going to talk about that because that's the fun part of the story. And you're like, please don't tell my kids how the hell you got in trouble. But at the same time, that's actually the funny part of the story. This is Philadelphia Alley, so it used to be called Dueler's Alley. Which, by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Did you hear anything on your spirit box along the way here?
Yeah, a couple songs, but they don't even need to sing.
Okay, couldn't make out any words at all.
There was Having a Good Night.
Okay. Which everybody at the market was.
Yeah. I'll think of it here in a minute.
Okay.
I was listening.
Well, we got a very clear disorganized the minute we walked in.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
We
it was
were all
very
kind
clear.
of far away
Yeah,
from
I
each
heard
other.
3 or 4 things that were not been clear. The clear ones going to do the market. I'll get past them.
Yeah, it's not our answer. All right, so Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur from the city of Charleston. I say some of them because dueling was illegal and they had to find a hiding spot. This happened to be one of them. So we all tell the same story, the same duel. Let's get into it. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Brian's going to continue to listen to his spirit box while we're here, and he gets the song Brown Eyed Girl. It's not coincidence. It's part of his name, and we get it all the time. So if that kind of gives you an idea of what you're listening for here. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not just having a gash. As he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. He was somewhat of a local. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We get the letters R.I. like somebody's spelling something out all the time. I don't want to say all the time. I would say probably 8 or 9, 10, times a year. So I wanted to verify that. I do have a Ouija board electronic device in my bag. It's called an Envoy that only gives you letters. So I wanted that device specifically for this location. That was the one device I wasn't giving you for sure, since you said don't give me anything that's going to freak me out. But what's nice about it is it will spell out words for us from the ghosts. So it's really cool. But we have gotten the initials R.I. here as I'm telling Ralph's part of the story. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's got a gunman inside. He's going to try to kill you. He's like, come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from some friends of mine and you'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. Longer the doctor stays in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't just after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down, and he gets wind of that. Now, he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Just so you know, like that's it. By the way, every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. But getting back to postures. But Ralph and Dr. Ladd, they're friends, but they go see plays together. But they cannot see or sit next to each other because the doctor gets better seats. So that's just the way the hierarchy works in Charleston. They talk about this place on the way home. They went to go see Richard III one night, and on their way home, they're arguing over the new actress that was here in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. It turns into an argument. Ralph is now insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways after it gets really ugly. Ralph has friends in town. He goes to see his friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Slap, slap with a glove. Yeah, this is 1700s, that was the thing. But anyway, the doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Doolittle Alley. Let's settle this. Keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress that they don't even know. Which should point that out. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph, he has his one bullet in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. He doesn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's not willing to forgive and he's still pissed off. The doctor's friends took him back home to 59 Church Street, and he refuses medical treatment for 10 days and then dies on November 2nd of 1786. So why did he refuse medical treatment? First off, the guy's a doctor. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than they were now. He probably just refused it, so he was trying to bleed out the lead poisoning for himself. So every tour that comes down here will tell you, listen for the whistles while you're here. The cool thing is, we're running 2 video cameras right now, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to have whistles, you don't have to do it on your own. We have help, right? So there's one thing. On our spirit boxes, even the recorded one, we've had the word whistle and then the word doctor show up. Or we've heard the whistling part of a song, like Guns N' Roses' Patience, the Moves Like Jagger song. These are just whistling parts of songs that we're getting out of it. And the cicadas don't count, by the way. It's not whistling. Yeah, those are cicadas. Oh, that's Remy. We're in his house. He won't come in.
Which white or gray?
Yeah. White or gray? Was he floating?
No. He's just running.
But obviously I gave you a lot of very specific clues about the doctor. Obviously anything medicinal in terms is going to work. But I'm going to need a secondary clue, like Brown is obviously a thing we can get from interview spirit boxes. His name was Joseph. His fiancée Amanda. 59 is a prominent number. There are other things I'm not telling you. I'd wait to see if you're going to hear them before I explain them, if that makes sense. So here's how I got kicked out of here. Here's the fun part before we leave the space. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was actually the wall of Charlestown was on Cumberland Street. So Charlestown used to be a walled city. We're now inside the walled city. So that means there was another partition between us and Cumberland, which is where the wall would have been. So that partition was blocking all the livestock that was kept here. This used to be called Cow Alley. So kind of keep that in mind. What does that mean? It means the bricks on the other side of this alley by Queen Street are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes off to the left. Of course, you guys picked up on all about history and down in Germany, so thank you for pointing that out. But I used to take my groups down there just to show it off, simply because we all need to see how far we come from slavery. I don't care what color you are, we all need to see it. However, I I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. You're not going to get any activity out of it. So, November 26th, 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that damn brick, waiting for something to happen on the devices that I gave them. I'm trying to shoo them along because it's also outside the kitchen window of a beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing I'm out of bounds for tours. Take note of where that tour stopped. That's about as far as we're allowed to go. So the new owner of that mansion came out while we were out there, and I'm trying to push my group along. And he's screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night. Her dad's getting yelled at. She's all about it. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't do tours on Thanksgiving simply because I worked in retail management for Walmart, upper management, by the way, for a good portion of my retail career of 20 years. I've never worked on Thanksgiving a day in my life. Again. So with that, the next day I called my partner that I had at the time where I was learning tourism from, because obviously I got out of retail to do this. But I told him what happened is you can't go down that far. We only had to go down halfway. So either take them down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided that night I'm going to reroute the group. I told my group that night I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously we're discussing pirates next. So obviously you guys seen the pirate walking by. It's not the one we're hunting down, just so you know. But again, I'm just not, it wasn't in the pirates like that. So before we left the space, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be looking into next. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was like, all right, maybe we will get something like this. So we go up and around the corner. I told them what I did know about pirates at the time. And somebody else hears the number 300 out of their spirit box. I don't know what it means. I write it down. Doing the research for them the next day. It turns out that the date that we were there, November 28th, 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So you guys all like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or I get the jaw drop, like, oh shit. For me, it's a oh shit. Here's the problem I have with pirates, and I'll explain why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I need even facts and data when I'm writing a fiction story. The problem with pirates is pirate stories are based off of pirate lore. So we're basing realism off of fiction, if that makes sense. Because the first piece of pirates that was ever written, besides captain's logs, were written over 100 years after the events actually occurred. There's no accuracy. So I read more damn books on pirates trying to debunk and prove everything that we're about to go through. Worst case scenario, you're going to learn a crap ton of things about pirates that you didn't know before. Because again, Anne's story is pretty detailed. But the other piece is, it is also a hit or miss location. It's either we're going to have a lot going on or nothing going on. That's just the kind of space it is. Okay, sorry, I'm down here every night. I named him. I had to. But then it is a weird location. We will stay away the other tours, but we will be able to spread out once we're there. The gate behind me before we leave, I know it's super hot down here, but this part is quick. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? This is also going to show you how I piece everything together. So in the event there was a loser to the duels we've already talked about, this was the shortcuts to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall that you guys are all staring at to the right here. Otherwise, you have to go all the way down to Queen Street and double back to be able to drop the dead body off at the cemetery before celebrating with a winner. And not to mention, dead weight is dead weight. This was the shortcut. I call it the death gate. The wrought iron probably wasn't put here until the early 1900s, but you can definitely see that the archway was part of the original wall. So I just like to point that out because not many people know why it's actually there. I just find it very fascinating, especially considering what we do, especially with sports. Sometimes I'll get things like gate and death all at the same time. So I think that's actually how it came over the name death gate. But we are going to exit the same way we came in, and then we're going to go up and around the corner. For those of you with video cameras, if you want to keep them running, that's fine because we're going to get out of this way. Yeah, we're going to go up and around the corner. Maybe they're just not cool like us. Brian's like, I'm okay with that answer.
What's that?
I said, aren't you? I said, look at this thing. Anyway, we're going to go out this way. Come on, Ross, we're going to get you back to work.
Sorry. I know, like, do you want to switch to me? You can do it. I don't believe any of it. I don't know. I feel a little bit of injury.
A little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's the only one that works.
Okay. What do I have to do?
Just to get here, and then the knob is on top of the antenna. It's deep in the front. That's what I said.
Everett. So with it nearly being a full moon, it's at 97% tonight. Anybody that wanted to take a picture, that's a perfect opportunity time. So whenever you want to stop and take a quick picture before we get started. Again, I want you guys to be tourists. But yeah, you guys want to talk moon phases first, we can do that because that's okay. Taking pictures of your device? You're nice. Like, it'd be fun. So, you actually asked about, by the way, who's got the spirit box now? So did you guys hear anything along the way here? All right.
I heard clear when we were coming out of the alleyway.
Clear.
Clear.
I don't know. Well, I got nothing on that. I'm still going to write it down just in case something pops up about it.
I heard I'm tired of this.
Are you?
No, that's what I heard. I want to switch back.
You'll probably hear better than I will.
What's funny is when I first started doing this, I thought females, no offense, but females tend to talk a lot more than the gentlemen that come to see me. And I figured like my chatty Cathy's would do really well with the spirit boxes. It turns out men actually listen way better to when it's static in the radio than they do to their wives. So I started to notice, that's why I actually went with Brian tonight, because I was like, we'll kind of see how this goes. Which, by the way, have I screwed up anybody's name yet?
No.
I think I've gotten you all down
Good.
pretty good, yeah. So go ahead and mute that for me if you don't mind. So she did ask me, like, does moon phase make a difference? I told you that was a 97% moon. Obviously, I keep track of that for investigation. Funny thing is, my next podcast is actually on a moon study. I took 110 investigations, and I pitted them against each other because I did create a rating system to see how active every single light was. And I kind of did some spreadsheets, like we just talked about, and really kind of gauged it. So the top half, the top 25%, and then the top 10 out of those 110, it is not a full moon. It's almost the complete opposite of a full moon. So I know that there's a lot of studies out there that say, you know, the paramedics and your community service workers will all say the crazies come out because they have more ambulance runs, they have more people in the hospital, so forth and so on. But it is a waning crescent moon, so just before a new moon, and the other condition of that is it has to be in perigee orbit. So what does that mean? It has to be the closest to the Earth. So the closer the moon is to the Earth in its orbit, along with a waning crescent, is usually when we're going to have that spike for the month. So it's almost like I can predict when we're going to have the most active nights. So us being at a 97% at a wax and gibbous moon, we're not there yet. So we're literally on the exact opposite of when it would actually be. So we're actually about 14 to 15 days away from our next active date that I'm predicting at this point. So, but
Picking the wrong day.
I know, right? But again, if I start, like, it'll be the next podcast episode, which I've been working on for months to make sure all my data was correct. But yeah, it's very interesting. But she did ask, so I'm going to talk about it. Same name.
Heard inactive.
I haven't been very active with it. it's been
We've
about
been really
a year
active. Everyone's talking to me.
since I published an episode. That's why I've been taking my time with this one to make sure it was right. So anyway, every tour that comes over here, we're in the back because they like to cut through. So as you can see, they're talking about the little tiny building up there. We're also going to discuss it, but we're looking at that building in a much different light because they're talking about the architecture of it, the history of it, so forth and so on. That's the Gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now, so if you ever need to spend $5 to get out of our heat or cold, that's a great $5 to spend. I'm not an advocate for the building, but I am infatuated with its architecture, which we're not going to discuss. We're here to look at those crosses on there. Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what earthquake bolts are, they're turnbuckles. If you have another earthquake, like what I've already mentioned, then you can tighten them. And it's supposed to tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. So the great thing, the reason I bring them up, by the way, is because those don't work. Earthquake bolts are not a thing. Like, they're a thing here in Charleston, but the theory of it is awesome. It just doesn't work. It's not going to keep the building together. It's crazy talk. And Californians laugh their asses off at me every time I bring this up, just so you know. But the reason I bring this up specifically is because that's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Even the apartment building behind it, by the way, has earthquake bolts. You can see them from here. It's the peach squares in bricks. So those are also earthquake bolts. And you may have also seen them around town with lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit. So, sorry to disgrade my own city, but that's what it is. But with those, that's the first set they put in, and you can see how crude they are. And the reason that I point them out is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. So that's why those were the first set that they ever put in. That's their first government building. Held gunpowder for 7 different wars. So we're here because that building was being constructed, at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. It's a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows and YouTubers? They use that Boo Buddy teddy bear to attract the child ghost, right? It's the same principle. That child will recognize the Boo Bear as a teddy bear. It's a toy. It's something recognizable. We don't have any buildings this old. Anne Bonny is said to be seen here along with many other places. So again, this is along the route of where we're allowed to be, so you kind of get my point of why I got voted out of the alley. So the building took 10 years to build. That's one major fact you do need to know about it because our history begins right in the middle of it, which by the way, 10 years for a small building, does that sound like our government? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. Anyway, 1708, follow me. There's a lot of twists in here. I'll slow down on the twists and then we will spread out and kind of see what we can get from this Anne. By the way, if you get anything above that 2.5 back here, I'm going to be stoked. So I'll be super excited. I won't be Zach Bagan stoked, but I'll be stoked. So yes, that is a phrase. I made it up. But anyway, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Yeah. Okay, the 3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she booted him out of the damn country to come here by boat? There's no planes. So you should make the joke, guys, be nice to your lady. She's going to boot you out of the country. Might just be to Canada, but she still might have to leave. But anyway, so they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So if you're not familiar with South Carolina, Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom dies pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to sell anything from that plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. So Anne back home in Ireland was going to be a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've had more than 2 communication devices out, and we have servant, knife, belly coming out of 2 to 3 different devices, and the other 2 people don't know what's actually happening because it's all coming back to me. So take that for what it's worth. Fast forward. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are starting to come through town in 1715. So Anne's pretty stoked. Let me tell you why. She's going to earn her freedom and fall in love with one of these pirates because it's a man's world, and a woman doesn't get her freedom until she's basically a pirate. So, first guy she falls in love with. I said first because there's a handful. We're going to go through them. That's what makes this story interesting. I'll keep it PG-13. But anyway, so first guy is James Bond. You already see where this one's from, right? So Dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica, got married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. However, they get down there and she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy's a privateer. He's a spy for the British. So he's a coward in her eyes. This isn't who she wants. A few years go by and she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. Jack has his, by the way, this is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of in case you're wondering who this guy was.
The name sounds familiar.
Calico Jack. So, he has his own pirate ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of that crew. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. Normally I would throw that question back to you guys, but we got teenagers in here and I get some pretty raunchy answers to that. So, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of it. She's okay with this. Reason why is Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. She's a pirate. Let's do this, right? We're all, most of us, pretty much adults here. Put two and two together. She's a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Someone's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to get rid of Jack as captain. They'll vote him off. He drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show. Have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a child. I have no idea what happens to this child. All of my research, I've never found it. You can ask, I just can't prove it if you actually get an answer. However, she does come back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. While she was gone giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting because that's who Anne is. Guy number 3, in case you guys are losing track. Guy number 3, it turns out to be a female, dressed like a male, to be part of the pirate crew with the Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate, so both names have shown up here in the past. Now, her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, we're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take out one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. That's obviously not going to work out too well, which, by the way, they only had flintlocks because they haven't been pirates for very long and don't know how to use cannons. So they get arrested by the British, and as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow. She says, Jack, I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up a lot on communication devices, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone 2 days prior. Anne and Mary go in front. They reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. They're still pirates. They were hoping to save themselves with their gender. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne. She comes home and remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt because we don't know much about Anne after her pirate career. Mary Reed dies 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Nice and bumpy and gross. A couple of things I left out of here. I'm not going to assign questions to the spirit boxes because you guys know how to do that by now, and this is not a prominent English woman. Poke the bear to get your answers. I'm okay with that here. But the things I did leave out, the names of Anne's parents, father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, and here's what I'm going to tell you. You guys actually have a normal clue that isn't normally given. You've already seen the name of his ship tonight, so I'm going to give you that clue, which is very interesting. You may not have realized that you saw that specific name of his ship, but you've already seen it in its totality. I thought it was very interesting when I did see it for myself. But at any rate, I also left out the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland and the color of her hair. So if you're struggling, go after those 1-syllable answers. Her hair color was red. So this is the first time you've actually gotten a chance to use this. Hopefully you're going to give some more than Brian did, and we'll kind of take it from there. Cameras. So the camera that you have, Brian, this wall is not your friend because all the leaves are in front of each other.
Yeah.
And then of course you want to kind of try to keep it low. Keep in mind it's going to look like a guy sitting on top of the powder magazine. It's just from the angles of the roof. So don't get too excited. I will tell you, I have had things show up near that garbage can right in front of where that guy parked, which sucks because just depending on the angle, we've had somebody sitting there swinging a leg. Like, very interesting piece. We've had it at least, I would say twice, that was solidified that there was nobody there and it wasn't from something else angled in the background. So we do have, 2 vehicles left in here, 4 vehicles, so just be mindful of those. But we are going to spread out and have some fun, and then we're going to end up there by that wall as long as another tour's not up there. So let's spread out. You got any numbers? Don't get excited. The closer you go that way, the higher it's going to go, because we have 2 electrical poles in the corners, and then we have the parking meters on the other side of that wall. So just kind of keep that in the back of the brain. 2.5. I'm actually excited about it here, simply because this isn't the paper we have to play. But I'm going to get as much of that. I think I'm going to hear everything.
Christy. Christy. Christy.
Sometimes it's shadows too. Oh, I see that.
It's showing the guy you're talking about. It's not doing it now.
Oh, look.
I wonder if that's a tree or
I
something.
don't know.
It was better a minute ago.
It's because I ran upstairs and
Get some.
Yeah, even those little spikes that she gets are exciting here because it's not the pygmy mansion site for sure.
Oh, it was showing like you're talking about somebody sitting on a trash can.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, but it kept flashing back and forth between a couple different things. So.
Well, as long as you
Same
have
thing.
it recorded, I
Yeah,
can
it's
check it
recorded.
out and debunk it. Because there is that truck near it,
Yeah, so that's
it
why.
might be picking up the angles of the truck. Normally what I do when there's things like that. But what we've done in the past, because we have seen a similar style figure sitting there like that, but then we debunked that it was kind of like the post in the background. But I'll normally put somebody walking around it, like a full 360 to make sure that what we have is legitimate and it's not picking up the background pieces. It's very, the two pieces I have here, I mean, it's literally like somebody swinging their leg, sitting there like watching us.
Well, they were showing one thing that was smaller and more like the size of a person, and then they were showing another one where it was like a tall figure standing next to it.
Okay.
So, but
Has she heard anything yet?
I don't think so. But yeah, it showed like the talking about the guy on the roof. Or the guy over there.
Yeah, everybody says, I got somebody sitting on the roof.
Yeah.
It's as tall as the building. I'm like, no, that's not a thing.
No.
I don't know if you told you or not, but it will pick up our shadows. So
Yeah, she said that. Right.
just because it's an absence of light. So, Mary, you got anything?
Heard clear.
What's with the word clear coming out of
I
there?
don't know. I heard go back.
Okay.
Hard as the shit.
They heard the word sunk. Or it's sunk. They're telling you what to ask about.
Tell me more about the shit.
Yeah, Mary just heard target shift. You guys heard.
and we heard part of the song Fireworks by Katy Perry. It said, "Baby, you're a
Okay, that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, just sit down and keep it nice and still.
I didn't even see the ledge over here.
Yep. This is where we end here, so I can set my bag down for a minute.
No.
Instead of putting it on the ground. It'll keep the other tourists from coming over here. So I can have the spot when we're done. The dog is fine too, by the way.
Oh, is it? What kind of dog is it?
I have 3 miniature wiener dogs.
Okay.
One of them, she gets UTIs all the time. So she was bleeding pretty bad in her urine this morning. So,
You said your kids wanting to be a vet?
my wife,
Your wife's one.
yeah, she's actually finishing up her master's degree now in animal behavior, and then we'll probably be moving to New Orleans so she can go to vet school down there.
That's cool if she's doing it later. That's my wife. She went back to school later in life.
So did I. I just finished my master's degree a year and a half ago. I'm done. Like, I won't go back for anything else
Yeah.
official. Like, there's, CE courses I'll take, but it's all based on what I'm doing here. But all of my degrees are in writing. So I have 2 bachelor's and a master's degree, all in writing. So
Cool. We do medical stuff. So she was a nurse, and then now she's a nurse practitioner.
Yep. And that's how my wife is going through it. She's actually she's earning her associates and masters at the same time.
But she got her RN and her bachelor's at
Yeah.
the same time, and that was a
Yeah, I mean,
bitch.
and she's working full time at the hospital. So,
Yeah, so yeah.
she's got her hands full.
yeah. I couldn't do that. So
I earned
School's
both my
not like
bachelor's
that.
at the same time while working at Walmart 70 hours a week.
yeah.
So, I mean, if I can do that, and I have a disability too, like it can be done.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely done. Like,
Yeah.
I got 6 figures in debt with that. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need
Yeah,
any
that's
more.
what we're doing for hers.
Yeah, between the 2 of us, I mean, it's close to like 400K.
yeah.
So, but luckily, my wife works for Banfield Pet Hospital, so they're actually helping her out a lot with like getting her associate's degree, so she can continue to keep leapfrogging her way up.
Yeah.
So when we go down to New Orleans, like she'll still have a job, you know what I mean, and that kind of thing, and she'll be a vet tech at that point.
Yeah.
So she'll already be. She's been in it now for over a year, but started the animal behavior degree 2 years ago. So she switched careers. Like, I convinced her to leave retail management as
Yeah.
well. Like, just get out. Like, I'm telling you, just roll the dice and let's just do it. So, these people are there.
But she worked at Walmart when she was younger, and then had friends that were moving their way up, and she said it was horrible
It is.
the way they treat you. Just freaking. And then now, after all this stuff's been going on, we have friends that used to work there, and they said that it's gotten even worse for the employees, the lower employees, too. So, yeah.
I was a co-manager for a super center. So there was 4 co-managers. I was one of those 4, always in line for the next store manager position. But I mean, I had 400 employees. I was
Yeah.
and they're all freaking miserable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that just makes you miserable because
Yeah.
you're there 70 hours a week, and you can't make them happy by showing like you're in it with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just like, I had to get out of it. It's not
Yeah.
done. I mean,
Soul sucking.
yeah. I mean, 21 years of retail management. I used to love what I did
Yeah.
when I was running music stores and video game stores and nothing but media.
Yeah.
And then I got sucked into Walmart, and I was like, man, what the hell did I do? And I got stuck there for 10 years. And I did a lot of different positions with them. Like, I actually even went back to Walmart when I was like in between positions before I started doing this, and I went back just to be an HR manager. And of course, it was an immediate hire because I was higher upper management before, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we'll put you in HR. And I was like, let me just get my desk and leave me be, and I'll keep track of all the training and all the orientations.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I did. I kept track of the paperwork, and then I was like, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. It got wind of my position of what I used to be there, so all the employees would go to me before their own managers.
Yeah.
So it was kind of I'm not your counselor. You need to go deal with your own shit.
Yeah, but you're the nicest one. You're the nice one.
It doesn't matter. It's not even that I was the nicest. I was the one that listened
Yeah.
because I understood their concerns.
I have that problem with my department. Younger guys come to me
Mm-hmm.
and not going to their captains for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah, because you listen, you make a
Yeah.
people connection.
I give a flying crap
Yeah.
compared to the others. So yeah.
Well, what I tell my wife is because we talk a lot about like why I remember your guys' names every night. that's a personal connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those. You guys get a text in the morning. I'm a real person. Call me if you need me. And then when we get here, I already have all your names written down, so I can kind of take a guesstimate of who's who. If I'm wrong, I correct it, and then we move on. And I make sure if I screw up the names, I want to know. Like, it's a big deal to me. I don't want you guys calling me Rick all night because I'm not Rick. Yeah, I'm Nick.
Yeah.
So, but it's a big deal.
Now that you said that, I might call you Rick by
You can
accident.
call me Rick.
So by
I'll just know
accident.
you're being a smart ass. I'm cool with it. Hang on.
How old your kids?
22, and my youngest turns 17 next week. So
It's not too bad difference.
that's enough. And there's a grandkid in there. He just turned a year.
Oh, those are better though.
I haven't met him yet.
Oh,
I think we heard the word retrieve.
Oh. Vague, but
Yeah.
you get it. I was waiting for another number to show up with when you gave me the word double. That's why I kind of leaned down, like, please give me the number, give me the number. And I'll explain why in just a second. Well, actually, I can do that one easy. Normally, we get double sevens here.
Oh.
The reason why is because Dr. Ladd's birthday is July 7th, and it's coming up. So double 7. 7-7 is the birthday. So we get the number 7 here a lot, but it's relative in one of three ways. Obviously, the doctor's birthday. Your 7th vice president is buried on the other side of that wall. That's John Calhoun. And the Powder Magazine served in 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. So again, you can see where I would look for that secondary clue of like either president, the name John, or military, militant, French, Indian, any of the wars that it actually served in. You guys get my point. But the double 7s, that's an indicator automatically it came straight from the doctor. Because we will hear 7 one time, and then somebody else will hear the number 7, so I have my doubles. But you gave me the word double, so I got excited. So this is another reason why I give that heated warning at the top of the night, by the way. Let me quickly explain. Back about a year and a half ago, it was the month of September. I took my group to the back like I always do, probably a group of 8 or 9. The kid next to me starts to drop. When I say kid, he's probably 21, 22 years old. He's fainting, like he's passing out on us, and it's way cooler than where we are now. So really no reason for him to faint, but I had to pick him up by his armpit so he didn't hit his head on the ground. He's dropping quick. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, and we brought him over here, right about where Ross is sitting. So he starts feeling better because I got him a bottle of water from the vending machine and the whole nine. And then I told him the history. This used to be the last stop. So after I was done with the history of Anne Bonny, I told everybody, go spread out, have some fun, last hurrah. And then these two guys pull me aside. Nick, we have to tell you, we are two transgender males. I had two females, dressed like males, on the tour, just like Anne and Mary in the story. So it's explainable, but it's not. If it makes sense, like, you kind of get the gist of why I give these. This is just the weird shit that I see that I can't explain, but it does happen. Psychics and mediums normally won't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site, especially if I give them a spirit box with earbuds. It's too many pieces of communication. They're already getting their own. They don't need a secondary electronic piece in their ear on top of it. It's too much for them to handle. Can't tell you how many times I make sure, like, that's why I have you guys show up early. I want a good gist of who am I working with and get the sense that anybody was psychic or medium here, because you were like, what the hell did we sign up for? And I'm like, all right, she's not one of them. So I kind of got my, that's why I asked you, like, you guys watch the shows, like, Saturday nights. Let's cover the answers. I'm actually pretty excited to show you Calico Jack's ship, because you're going to all look at me and go, oh yeah, I remember seeing that now. So again, it's kind of a funny moment, especially for this particular group, because this is the only group that this has ever happened in. So, Anne Bonny, this is one of the few pictures you can find of this young lady where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare a breast to show men they were just killed by a woman. Told you, she was a badass. And again, I do get teenage boys on this. I don't need an angry mom leaving. So that's why she's fully clothed. The names of her parents, William, Cormac, Mary, Brennan. So normally, the funny thing is it normally comes up in one phrase, William and Mary, or Mary and William, and reversed. It's never like you heard William, you heard Mary. It kind of weird kind of thing that actually pops up about that. It's usually in one phrase. It's the craziest thing. By the way, Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormac family. So it kind of shows you where that scandal comes from. We can go into another 30-minute ordeal. It's just not relevant to where we are. Again, it's just kind of a crazy thought. Calico Jack. Let me show you what he looked like, because I know you're all curious about his damn ship name. Especially because what I'm excited about is we actually had it sunk, and then the ship was targeted or something along those lines. Yeah. So I was actually like, okay, he's actually got, he can see it too. This is Calico Jack. He was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, by the way, in case you forgot. His father was a tailor, so textile was very important to him. Calico Jack basically stands for fancy jacket. It's basically what it translates to. So, the name of his ship, can you stand up for me, Briley? The Kingston was the name of his ship. So, do I expect the word Kingston to actually pop up on your spirit box? No. Yours picks up more disembodied voices than hers does. So I would expect the word Kingston out of yours, but the word King would actually suffice coming out of yours. The reason why is, what color is a big red barn? Blood. It's the same type of mentality. They're going to grab what they can to be able to convey the message. So, have we gotten it a lot? We haven't. I was hoping we would, because as soon as you guys showed up, I'm like, ooh, Kingston, yes. So, God turned it? So we're near the church. Notice you guys didn't give me any religious terms until we got near St. Philip's. It normally starts to occur once we hit Philadelphia Alley, because that's when you get the full view of the steeple. So again, just something to point out. I will write it down, and it could have been that God turned over the Kingston. I don't know how it fell or how it sank. The rest of the answers were Anne Bonny was born and raised in Cork, Ireland. Like you cork a bottle, and then of course her hair color was red. Here's what's going to happen at our next location. The two teenagers might know what's actually going to happen, but I might have to explain it to the adults. For those of you that watch the TV shows, we're going to be doing the Estes method. Is anybody familiar with this? So, out of the three of you, since you've all experimented with this, you guys are going to need to figure out who I'm going to be blindfolding and put noise-canceling headphones over top of your spirit box, so that way you're not going to know the history of the space. We're going to be talking to that person as if they were the ghost that the rest of us are going to be hunting down. So you're going to have a whole separate job. But as we're walking, you guys can discuss it of who's going to actually go under. But you're not going to hear what I'm asking and so forth and so on. They're telling you, if you get that.
That's okay.
We're actually adding an element which I've only been doing for the past week. Now the Estes method I've only been doing on the tours now for maybe, we'll say 2 months. But I've added a new element. They actually just created a new piece of technology using AI with a VR headset. So Ross is going to be wearing my VR headset and using, yeah. So he's going to be able to hear us, but he's not going to be able to know the history. So the whole point of this experiment is that we'll just say that the two of you are going to sit on a bench, and I'm going to take the rest of you over near the monument of the person we're going to be hunting down. I'll give you a very quick 5-minute brief history on them, and then we're going to come back and get these two geared up and talk to them as if they're that specific ghost. So the hope here is that you're going to be telling us things in conversation as I'm asking those questions, and you're not going to hear what I'm saying or knowing the history. What you're going to be doing is describing the pictures in front of you in the VR to us. The nice thing for you guys is I found a way to take all of those visuals and put it into your data. I'm also going to show them to you before we leave the space. He's going to be using my phone, so this is still the test for this. I will tell you, in the 5 or 6 times that I've done this, we've always had at least one out of, we'll say, 4 to 5 pictures average come up as relevant to that space. Also, have you guys ever seen AI generate an image? Okay, so have you ever seen anything?
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you guys have a gist, I normally would do an example if nobody's seen it, but you guys all seem pretty hip to this. The cool thing is it will be using the magnetometer of my phone. These are original images being generated based on the environment around us. It is so cool how this works. And again, it's the nice thing is when you guys get your data back from me tomorrow morning, which by the way, I go straight to the office after we're done, and you're gonna have that link before you wake up. So I'm that quick with it. So you'll have a text from me between 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. But there's a link to a field guide. So if you didn't have the thermal imaging camera, which you would probably know how to read it, but the 2 of you may be watching this on your own, and it shows you what to look for with paranormal evidence. There's also a list of the apps that I trust and use, because when the wife tells me we're going on a romantic weekend, no ghost hunting gear, I still have my damn phone that I can trust of things I tested numerous times. So there's always a ghost nearby when I have to, even we go to St. Augustine. Obviously, we're going to have to visit New Orleans, as I kind of was talking to you about. So I might have to take this whole business to New Orleans in the next year and a half, because my wife's going to school down there. So if she gets in, that's where we'll be. If not, we'll be heading to St. Augustine, where I'll have a lot more competition. I'm hoping for New Orleans, because I just feel like a guy like me will be much more welcome there than I would say in Charleston or in St. Augustine. I'll make some good hoodoo witchy friends, and
them.
Yeah, well, most of my circle of friends now are psychics and mediums, even from up Ohio and Pennsylvania area. Like, those people are all psychics and mediums. Those are the only people I stay in touch with anymore. But with that said, as we're going, if you guys want to change things up among you again and not dull and tell Mom that she's going to be the one going under. But this is also very interesting to watch. You'll also, whoever is not going under, will be filming them directly with this camera. So I will take his camera, because we will stop using it, I'll put it away and give him the headset. Where we're going is about 2.5 blocks away. Unfortunately, it's our longest trek. It's about 5 minutes, but we are passing up the circular church graveyard. If you want to stop and get pictures or footage, just know I'm not going to lose pace. There is said to be a Civil War ghost in there. I've just never caught anything, just so you know. It's normally one of the gimmicks from all the other tours, because they actually go through the cemetery. So it's one of those. All those numbers you guys just had, it adds up to 13. The Powder magazine, this is a huge stretch by the way, was finished in 1713. Again, she heard 3-3, then she heard 3-4 at the same time. It's a very big stretch.
Isn't 13 like a haunted number for Chinese people?
Look.
Yeah.
quick.
I got a 72.
There's a lot of those, I think.
It'll be fun driving around here though.
I had far enough time with my SUV. I can't imagine.
I had
Oh,
like
we joked
mid-60s,
about the guys I
low
work with
70s.
would freak out. They just stop and try to get out and run if they keep driving with their friends. Yeah. Okay. Finally we get something. We have 36 degree in there as well. So I have my notes to watch the thermal.
We went downstairs right after that. So I'm basically going to hand you guys the equipment that you'll be wearing. However, I do not want you to put anything on until we come back to start this. Simply because when I'm blindfolding people in the middle of a dark park, it never looks good. Yeah, no. So the other part of me here.
And be like, what is wrong with her?
So when I come back, I'm actually going to give you guys a few quick tricks of what to expect out of this. So Ross, you're going to hang on to that. I'm going to give you something to drink here. Noise canceling headphones. So somebody will be putting those on you that's not you. So you're going to be blindfolded when you have those on. And it'll open up full flat. So it's not going to hold it right. So it'll open up full flat if you want to mess around with it. If you can't figure it out, it's fine. I'll help you when I come back over.
Okay.
But not a big deal. So when we do come back, just so the three of you know, like we're going to stay huddled around them pretty tightly. I know it's hot out here, but that's just to kind of deter the other tourists from staring at us weirdos like what the hell is happening. So there's a couple of things about this whole experience that it can get disorienting. So we're only going to keep you under for 10 minutes, especially in this heat and humidity. And again, all equipment gets sanitized. I know you guys touch this stuff with your head, face, and make sure it all gets sanitized. But I'll take the garbage.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I see a little side pocket just for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go teach them the history. You guys can become besties for 5 minutes, and we'll do that. So we're gonna go over to this monument right over here. See, we're not gonna be far away from it. I got him covered. I'm not putting him up the screen. I'm just gonna walk away.
Pretty strange.
This is the big space. I don't know everything about this guy we're hunting down. I've been learning about it through this method. That's the fun part. So first time I came in here, I always change it up every year. I take out one space, add a new one, starting on November 1st, right after Halloween, to see what I can come up with for the next year. That way repeaters aren't going to the exact same spaces every time they come to see me. So I only had 2 people that night because it was cold. So I walked in with the 2 people, and the young lady using the spirit box heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using a digital word generator, and it gave me the name Tim. So behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I went, hot shit, there's my ghost, right? So here's his quick story. A few things you need to know about him. He was a writer and a poet, and he, obviously being born in 1828, he was old enough to go fight in the Civil War. So he went to go fight for the Confederate side, but his comrades realized he's too sick to fight. He was sick for most of his life. So they sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war. So he came home, started writing poetry about what was going on the battlefield. It was a pretty big deal. So I was kind of excited even about the word battlefield being heard, by Mary earlier. But anyway, so he becomes known as the Laureates of the Confederacy. So it's a pretty big title for writers. A few years go by, he has a son. So you guys are going to know about the son. They're not, because I'm probably going to poke the bear with Henry to try to get info about his son. His son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later, October 23rd of 1865. So a couple of years are going by, and he's not writing as much as what he normally publishes, and his college friend realizes this and says, you know what, leave your wife Katie behind with her parents so she can mourn. Go out to my cottage in Columbia, that's the middle of our state, and you can continue working on what you're supposed to write out there in peace and get away from everything. So he goes out there and he writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, person of short life, is basically what the translation is. Then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain, and he dies. He had tuberculosis. The cool thing about that blood stain is it looks like a man writing at his desk. Now, very interesting piece about all of this is that they only show this book, by the way, at the Charleston Library Society one day a year on Halloween. You got to be a member of the society to be able to go see it. However, the internet's beautiful. I am going to show you what the page looks like, but we've been getting more and more images relative to that blood stain. The word generator a few nights ago gave us the word desk. I was pretty cool with that at this location. But last night, it actually showed us a drawer handle to a desk with filigree on the drawer face of itself. So I was kind of like, that's definitely, you'll be able to go back and see this for June, because obviously that was last night. But let me show you this blood stain, and then we're going to go talk to Mary, as if she's Henry Timrod, and then hopefully Ross is going to be giving us images relative to this gentleman. So you can see, beholder of brief mortality, definitely looks like a man writing at his desk. So again, we call this the blood book. So the word blood shows up all the time with this. So it's, we're not using the word generator tonight, but it's one of those pieces where it's digital. We don't have to listen to it. It just does the work for us. But I do, it's funny, that's normally a staple for me, but the way that things balanced out for us tonight, it just kind of went that way. So yeah, let's go talk to them as if she's Henry Timrod and see what we can get out of this.
All right, and this should be on mute.
Yeah, we're going to keep you on mute for sure.
Okay.
Hope you don't mind. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I was afraid I was going to tear it if I did that.
It rolls flat, so now you have two holes that are going to go over your ears.
Okay.
So before you put anything on, I'm going to take your spirit box and you hand it to me because I don't want to touch your leg. Just for a second. We're going to turn it off, and then we're going to restart it so we have a separate recording just for this session. So that way you guys can see what she actually heard during this entire time. So a couple of things. I'm only going to keep you guys under for 10 minutes. First off, I'll be keeping an eye on your breathing. Just to make sure everybody's doing okay. In the event that you're going to get tapped out, a family member is going to tap you on the leg. That means you're done. Take off your gear, and we're going to talk about how you feel. Do not get up immediately, because again, with you being not seeing anything, both of you, you're going to be a baby giraffe, and you're going to bawl. And if you're talking too loud, Mary, family member's going to tap you on the shoulder. Riley, I'm probably going to put you on the other side, and you're going to help mom with putting his headset on as well. You have it at a comfortable volume already?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. Maybe a little louder if you think. It doesn't compensate.
So once you get started, I do not want you touching the spirit box. We want to make sure that you're not cheating, if that makes sense. So once you get one of those in, just make sure you're at a comfortable spot, and that way you're going to leave it alone. The other piece for you is that you're going to be telling us everything you hear in real time. Remember, you are talking to us, and we can hear you, so make sure it's a whisper. Also, answer in yes/no questions if you hear a yes/no answer. You don't know what I'm asking. That's why it's okay in this instance.
Can I turn it up a little?
Yeah. You get to your comfort level. I'm going to set this up for Ross real quick, and you're going to go blindfold, earbuds, noise canceling headphones. So that's how that's going to go. So Riley, you might actually want to take those headphones, set that down, so that way you can help mom out. Let me get this Seer app started for Ross. Love this thing. This thing is so freaking cool. Shut down one more. Did you drop?
I put the back up since I don't have
Oh, might have just been the motion from you moving it. We have gotten all the way up to 167 on your meter, just so you have that idea, in this location. So we've gotten it up that high. So for you, go ahead and just hold it like it's going to be on your face. So there's a focal point right here, and it'll move the lenses this way, and then right where your thumbs are at underneath, just do two little taps, and it'll move it forward and back. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. Just give you a quick explanation. Black smoke in the background is just the ambient portion of it, and you need to tell us everything that you see besides that black smoke.
Besides the blood.
Yeah. So, go ahead and hold it up. So I'm gonna slide it in. Nope, not on your face. I just want to slide the phone in. Alright. Okay, so go ahead and get yourself adjusted. Go ahead and use the head strap. Everything's at the same time. So, blindfold for you. And then from wait till she gets the earbud in.
This is the only one of this that works, so is that okay?
This is the only one that works?
The other one's not working.
Oh, let's get your first set. I didn't want both of those covered. I didn't know that.
It's okay. I was kind of listening with the other ear anyway. What you were saying.
I'll take those. Let me plug this one in. So I bring that to us. These things cost a quarter of an inch. Noise.
Focus in, Ross.
Yep.
Close to y'all to Buffalo.
Oh, very close. We flew out of Buffalo. Yeah.
I got a friend just died a week ago, 2 weeks ago. She's from Buffalo.
Oh,
About a month.
right in Buffalo?
Outside of her family's out in the country. I don't know exactly where. I can't
Oh, okay.
remember. But she was one of my partners in the ambulance.
I'm gonna turn it up just a touch.
Yeah. We're about an hour and 15 minutes from there. And I
So Ross,
have
do you
lots
see
of
the
clients
smoke?
there.
Yep, I
lots
see
of
the
friends
smoke.
there.
There's like a butterfly earlier. Is that normal?
Buffalo last weekend all
tell
week
me.
all weekend for a wedding.
Butterfly. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this started now that everybody's blindfolded.
It's easier to travel there.
So how will I know when I'm supposed to start?
You get a lot of snow.
You're hearing things? Tell us what you're hearing. Can you hear me now? Lift up one of her earmuffs and just let her know to start. Good. You can start talking.
Do what?
Start talking as soon as you hear me.
Okay.
You've already started.
Alright, so I see a bottle with some lightness in the background. It looks like an old style milk bottle. It's black with a gray stripe and a white stripe from the top to the bottom.
It's efficient.
It has a lid on. Oh,
I haven't even asked anything yet. Whose home are we in? Who do we have here with us? We are looking for Henry Timrod. Are you Henry Timrod?
Alright. There's a butterfly. It has a yellow background.
My heart's broken.
Yellow wings. Very light yellow.
How much?
2 antennae.
Holding on.
There's a smaller kind of deformed butterfly in the
This is all the same
bottom.
image, Ross? You
Right.
can be simpler because she's talking at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So just keep it nice and simple. It's a butterfly in a jar.
But no jar. No
Okay.
jar.
No.
Light yellow background.
I haven't even asked him.
Sometimes you do.
All right, so Ross, give me just a second. So Henry Timrod or whoever's here, can you
see
tell me
it.
what's coming out of the church right now? What sound are we hearing? It's a perfect verifier that we have.
This place.
What about this place? What are we hearing right now? That's the question. A direct answer would be fantastic.
Don't deserve.
Okay, Ross, now that the bells have stopped, you get another image.
Relationships.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be, you're only going to get 1 to 4 images total.
Okay.
He gave us like the full paint and the brush strokes. I'm like, holy cow, dude, slow down.
That
Okay,
was my life.
Henry Timrod, I need you to push through and tell us what your occupation was. We're not looking for parlor tricks tonight. We're looking to learn more about you, but we need to verify that you're here first. I'm not going to be...
You'd like to hear it
I would like to hear your rest of your story. So
further away.
the rest of your...
I don't want to.
Henry, what was further away? Was it the desk? You showed us an image of a desk last night.
Throw me out.
She's getting pretty emotional. Is that normal for her tone of
Somebody
voice?
I don't know.
Henry Timrod, tell us about that day that you were in Paul's house.
Oh, all right.
3-5.
It's a light image. There's a man.
Okay,
He
you go.
has
Ross,
like
we can hear you, buddy.
his bowler hat
Less than a week.
and like a bloody knife. There's like a knife with like speckles of blood on it. Very slender arm.
Free.
It's a light yellow
Country.
background.
Henry, what's with the knife? There was no knife involved with your death. Is this
Christians.
do we have Henry Timrod here? That's a yes/no answer. Are you Henry Timrod?
9-1.
Henry,
Spirit. Bored.
are you bored? Let's have a conversation then. You have somebody that can actually hear you. Tell us who you are. I still don't have verification that I have Henry Timrod here with me.
City.
What city?
Everybody.
Look how she's looking around. Like people normally like are jet laser focused.
Loud voice.
Yeah, Ross does have a loud voice, doesn't he? Henry normally doesn't come through
I
when
hope you will.
we have a lot of people like this, so it can be a little hesitant to come through.
Inside.
You said something about your house earlier.
No.
Can you tell me what house you're talking about?
Hit.
What house are you talking about?
It's new.
She's actually pretty good at this. Should have gave it to her from the beginning.
Yeah, see?
Sorry, man, you sucked at this.
I suck at a lot of
Compared to her.
things.
That's only in comparison.
Yeah. She beats me in a lot of stuff, so.
Notice she's not
Years.
talking. How many years? How old were you when you passed away?
42.
She was 38.
Man.
And that was in 1867 when he passed away.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the office after this. Where are you going, Henry?
Step. Listen.
How many steps? How many steps? Give me the number. How many steps?
Call you back. No.
At times, we'll get Dr. Ladd from our dueling story here, because the house you lived in is 0.3
Woman.
miles that way. She said, step, take 10 paces away from each other for a duel.
Tomorrow.
Listen, whistling doctor. That's where I was getting, because we've been getting him slipping through every once in a while if Henry's not coming through. Do we have Dr. Ladd here with us? That's a yes/no answer?
Alright, I got another picture.
Okay.
It's
Me.
a horse with like yellow on its head. And one eye.
One-eyed yellow horse. One yellow-eyed
Inside.
horse.
It does only have one eye.
I'm telling you, where do you see these images? Like, they're trippy,
shit.
man. He's getting a lot of images for this kind of session, by the way. It's been 6 minutes, just so everybody kind of knows. Henry,
Inside.
like, she said that word like 4 times.
I don't think so.
Alright, there's another picture. Ooh! There's, hold up, let me
That's
count.
why we
1,
film
2,
everything.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 what?
12 eyes. Yeah, there's 12 eyes here.
So, Henry, you normally give us
With like reeds in between.
things about sight because I blindfold people so they can focus on what they can peer out of you.
They're all looking at like a central point at the bottom of the image. It's a blue semicircle.
There's 12 eyes here.
Is there?
Okay, let's back
6 of
up
us.
some.
Oh.
Baby.
Okay. Let's talk about this baby. Can you tell us the baby's name? That is kind of freaky. Thank you for pointing that
No.
out. You don't want to talk about your son? Say Time or Tom? Couldn't tell based on her accent.
Today stop. 1.
Henry Tom. Do you go Tom? Are we talking somebody by the name of Tom or who lived in the Thomas Rose house?
No.
Okay. Who are we talking to?
First one.
Henry Timrod?
Move on.
You want us to leave? You need to tell us if you want us to leave, because you know I'm going to stay here for 10 minutes.
Thought you would know.
I can hear the emotion in her voice. Like, that one sounded like pretty sad, like, you would know. Ross.
Yeah.
I was just looking at you and I was going to refer to Henry, but I was looking at you, so your name came through. Sorry. Henry. We only have a few minutes left. What do you want to tell us? Give us some.
December.
Alright. There's another one. It's sunset, but it
Get
looks
up.
very, very close up. Like it's another planet right next to us, but it's a sun.
If you were.
She heard
And there's some sort of face on it.
month of December. We asked about the
Pete.
son, who was born on Christmas Eve. Can you tell us what day in December is specific? What's the number? We're probably not going to be able to use the holiday because we're in the middle of July. But what's the holiday, or what's the date in December that's significant to you?
Sun goes up.
He has an image of a sun right now.
Bring you home.
What's significant about December? know that you're actually here. I'm going to have to wrap this up if you're not going to give me an answer. Henry, one last chance.
Never.
Do you want us to stop? Because we will. It's been 10 minutes.
Go back over.
All right, Henry. I will see you tomorrow night. Go ahead and tap her on the leg for me. Ross, take off that headgear. Satisfied. So, let's see what images we have. Do not get up. So, have a seat. Just want to make sure you're going to be okay. That's the first priority. Let's kind of take a look at these images. How you feel? You okay?
I feel good. A little weird.
Yeah. You got a little emotional there for a minute. So this was, looks like another planet, but he said a close-up sunset. At
It
the
looked
same
a lot
time,
brighter.
You said the sun goes up. It was within 30 seconds of each other.
It looked brighter in the headset. Like
It's always going to look a little bit different. Because it's going to, because you saw it, like these are peacocks.
Oh.
Those aren't 12 eyes. Those are peacocks. That's a peacock's feather tail.
It's brighter in the thing.
You counted those, and it said 12. You counted that we actually had 12 eyes between us. You didn't say anything relevant to this picture, but he said he saw 12 eyes. The next one is literally a white horse on a gray background. Very simple. I don't know what that means at all. So I don't know if there's any kind of symbolism behind that, but it's not relevant, at least not yet.
That guy looked like he had some sort of shaped knife in his hand. So I said knife.
He also has like a Skype with him.
He does?
Yeah.
Skype?
So it's in the background, but it's definitely there.
I thought that was like.
So it's definitely with that type of hat, I would say mid to late 1800s with that rolling type hat. We've actually had a picture of a saloon with an 1800s show up. There's the butterfly you saw.
I had two butterflies. I had one in the beginning too.
Okay. So that's just weird that he actually had two different things that showed up as a butterfly.
Milk bottle.
Milk bottle by itself. And we also had that horse. So it could have been.
It's kind of like old stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely relevant to the time. Yeah, it's definitely not a monarch. Like that's obviously a very specific type of butterfly.
That was there when I put it in. So I didn't have much time.
Nothing where I can see where it's super relevant to who we were trying to talk to, other than these pictures look like they're from the time period of the mid 1800s. We're talking about somebody from the Civil War. That tuberculosis and like a blood stain on a page, which they show at one of our museums here in Burlington. He was a writer. So again, this one to me is probably the most significant because he said this looks like a sunrise, and you said the sun goes up literally within 30 seconds.
It was like instant.
But the other piece, you had a couple of things that were said that were somewhat relevant, like you gave us the month of December, which is a weird thing to hear in the month of July. So that is a relevant date to that specific person. And again, I'm not going to go over the whole history with you, but you'll get all of these details because I'm going to have to rewatch that video and re-listen to the audio to see what extra things were there that I may have missed. But I would say that this was slightly successful just because some things matched up between the two of them. Not necessarily because we had all of these right answers from you. It was just things that were occurring around us. We did get a 12.9, was it, that we wrote down? So that's exciting. We have gotten all the way up to 167 there. But we're feeling a little bit better now.
Yeah, sure.
You had a little bit of emotion going on there. Like you kind of felt like...
Not really, no.
Okay. So, again.
You did a great job. It was really easy to understand you,
Yeah.
and thank you.
So some people get underneath there and we kind of have to remind them to talk. Like, you got to be telling us what you're hearing. That's why I was a little worried because all three of you played with the spirit box. I'm kind of like, who are we going to choose? I'll let them decide. But the AI thing is still relatively new. I'm excited, at least they look like they're at least from the time period. I just can't put them on a
It
specific...
takes a while for them to come up.
Well, yeah.
So how does that work?
So it's basically using the EMFs around us to get its messages. So when I tell AI to create an image, I'm using my voice, and that's what's in the environment of what it understands. So what it's doing is it's using the magnetometer, basically the same type of device of your phone. Your phone has to have a magnetometer in it for all of the GPS services that you use. So it's using that to see what's going on around it to be able to relay that into an image.
Wow.
So when he's seeing it, it looks like it's moving a little bit, and it's just twisting it and moving it around to make sure it's exactly what the environment wants to show us. So it's really interesting, how it actually
It's
works.
like things that you can recognize there.
There's some nights where it's not.
Oh.
But we didn't know what it was until we had the full picture, and it even gets even more clear when you look at it on your computer screens. So when I get this back and I take a look at them, I'm like, oh, that's why. Notice how I looked at the details of the scythe in the background instead of just the blade. So that to me is interesting. So I'm going to start collecting devices now that you're feeling better. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little
Is this-
nauseous at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, don't get up. So I'll start collecting your devices. You guys can ask me more questions if you'd like. Hang on. Everything has its spot. So can you grab this spirit box to help me out so I don't crush it? But what questions do you guys have? Not a normal ghost tour, is it, guys?
No.
Yeah. For
No.
those of you
It
that
was very good, though. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely different. Like you said, everybody's like, oh, you suck because this is not going to be, they're not going to be the same
and
after
this is
this.
normally it's the person that's been under the Estes
Yeah.
method that looks at me and go, Nick, you suck so bad.
Mhm.
Like, sorry.
It makes me want to learn more because I didn't know a lot about this
Yeah.
kind of stuff beforehand.
I think the other piece too, for somebody like you, don't take this the wrong way, but you expected this to be a scary, haunted jump scare type thing.
Yes.
'Cause that's
and
exactly
he
what
tried to
TV
give me
makes
a
it out
jump
to be.
scare on the way there, and I was like, I swear, if you try to do that to me, we're leaving.
But notice, I did not take you anywhere dangerous. We talked about a plantation owner, we talked about a duel,
Yeah.
a pirate, and
It
a
was
writer.
perfect. Yeah.
So, again, ghost hunting isn't the BS that they give you on TV. So, did you want these earbuds back? Mary,
Christy.
did you want these earbuds back?
No, thank you.
Did you want the earbuds?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I just
I don't know. One time I like moved my hand and it gave me a new picture when it was just the smoke, so I kept trying to do that.
He thought he was seeing his hands, I'm sure.
No. Well, like in the smoke, sometimes it got darker
Good
when
job,
I
sir.
flailed my hands around. So I was like doing that.